Hi, my name's Greg from TP Photography, and today I'm going to talk to you about the extra flashes that I've got recently for the Sony wireless flash setup. They're all Godox flashes. I've got a range of different sizes here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the 685S. That looks like a normal speed light, takes AA batteries, has built-in wireless master, built-in wireless slave, same for optical setup as well if you want to integrate it with any existing Sony flash guns that you've got. Really solid, dependable flash. So, you know, this is kind of, if you want a flash gun that's going to give you sort of a standard output, if you're coming from like Nikon or Canon and you're used to their sort of top of the range flash guns, it's going to give you a similar sort of output but with built-in wireless, which is great for Sony. Where you can trigger that is normally X1TS. That lets me control the power of this flash and also lets me control the power of the other wireless flashes. Now, you've got a couple of other options if you're going for a full-size flash gun. You've got the V860 Mark IIS, which is pretty much exactly the same as the 685, but instead of AA batteries, it takes a lithium ion. Now, the great thing about the lithium ion battery is that obviously it lasts all day. You know, you never have to worry about changing the batteries. So if you're a heavy user of flash, then, you know, I'd consider the V860 over the 685. If you're an occasional user of flash and a bit of off-camera flash stuff, then the 685 is probably going to be the best value for you, because functionality-wise, they're identical. And obviously, it's worth saying that if you're using an AA-powered flash, then the recycle times aren't going to be quite as good as the lithium-ion, so you're going to get faster recycle times from the V862 as well. Now, having said that, obviously, if for whatever reason you leave this flash on in your bag, or you know, you've not got the auto power saving on because you've turned it off for whatever reason, you know, or basically you find that this is flat one day and you forgot your spare, then you know you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to find one of these batteries anywhere, you know, wherever you are. Obviously, the advantage of the AA one is that pretty much wherever you are, you'll be able to find some AAs. You know, you might even be able to borrow some off someone. So that's obviously, you know, that's like a standard thing about the AAs versus lithium ion. But if you're a heavy user of flash, then the lithium ion is going to be really good because it'll give you that extra power, the quicker recycling. And I think I've shown this on my other video that you can see that it recycles quicker. So, you know, that's the option there. Now, you've also, if you never do any TTL work and you're never going to use it on camera in TTL mode, then the TT600 is a great choice because it takes AAs, it's got the built-in wireless slave, wireless master. So, you know, if you're somebody who uses flash in manual mode, then you can save some money again by going for the TT600. I think it's approximately half the price of the 685. So, you know, I have one, I think I have two in my bag. So, you know, if I'm doing off-camera flash work and I'm using it in manual mode, then this is a great option. You know, save yourself some money, and you know, gives you the same features. You've got wireless slave mode, which, you know, you can use it on camera as well. You can see it's got a non-dedicated hot shoe there. The others have got the Sony dedicated sort of smart shoe, which, you know, I actually prefer to the Canon and Nikon shoes now because you get a bit more communication. It's a bit more of a solid fit on top of the camera. So these are kind of your full-size options, if you will, in terms of, you know, most powerful with lithium ion, and then very similar but with AAs, and then, you know, a non-dedicated one but the wireless features with AAs in. Now, this is a recent one that Each Shot sent me. This is the TT350S. I think at the moment it's only available for Sony, but you know, it'd be interesting to see if it comes out for Canon and Nikon, because, you know, I think there's a place in the market for this. Now, it only takes two AAs, so, you know, it's, you know, as you can see, it's smaller, so it's not quite as powerful. It's not as big as this one. It takes two AAs, so the recycling is not quite as fast, you know, but still perfectly good for off-camera work and on-camera work. You know, if you just want something that's not going to be sort of big and heavy on there, especially with the Sony bodies being smaller than DSLRs, then, you know, the advantage of this is that it's smaller on there and not quite as much strain on your hand and things when you're using it. One of the other nice things about this is that because it's smaller, then you can kind of have a few of these in your bag, you know, and obviously as you put more of the bigger flashes in, then it takes up a certain amount of room. These being small take up, you know, that much less room. So obviously you've got that advantage of size and weight. So, you know, when you're using a wireless setup and you're using a mirrorless setup, and you know, might think, well, I'm using that because of the weight savings, then this is kind of fits into that sort of ethos, if you will, of how you can use smaller and lighter, but yet still have the equipment that you need. Now, one of the slight differences of the 350S is that it doesn't offer the wireless optical triggering that the other ones do. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it does offer the wireless 2.4 gigahertz one, which, to be honest, you know, is what you're going to use most of the time, because it gives you the flexibility to put the flash and the cameras wherever you want without having to worry about line of sight, which is obviously one of the weaknesses of optical triggering. I've used this at a few events now. It's worked really well. I've used it in bounce mode. You actually get a little diffuser with it when I got this from Each Shot. So thanks for Each Shot for sending me this to review. You know, my initial impressions, and after using it a few times, very positive. I like how it's lighter. One of the other things about it being smaller and using 2As is that obviously enhances the portability, if you will, because you know, if you had it this size but had more battery compartment space, then you know, you might get a bit more power, a bit more faster recycling, but you'd obviously have that weight of the 2 extra batteries, so you're really maximising that there. You know, the back of the flash is pretty easy to use. There's not really much more to say. I think we've covered the reasons why you'd pick these different flashes. You know, convenience and power, portability, you know, size and weight. You know, you're not really giving up much for most users using this TT350S. You know, again, we might see this in Canon and Nikon fit because, you know, in the same way as you don't always want a big powerful flash, sometimes you just want something a little bit smaller that still kicks enough power out for what you're going to do, but it gives you the flexibility of choosing which flash you want. You know, in the same way as I've got the AD360 over there, and I can trigger this using the same system. You know, yes, it's more powerful, yes, it recycles faster, but you know, you don't want to be using that all the time because it's big and unwieldy, and you know, you just simply don't need that power a lot of the time. So this is going to kind of be my first choice. You know, especially when you're pushing the ISO a little bit, then you know, you don't need that power and that recycling in quite the same way as maybe you did a few years ago before all the sensor technology improved. So hopefully you found that useful in terms of the options now available, certainly for Sony wireless. Some of these options are available for Canon, Nikon, not the 350S yet, but you know, the Godox flash system and triggering. You know, and in fact the Nikon X1T that I have, the X1TN, will actually trigger all these as well. So you know, obviously you don't get TTL, but you know, if you just want to fire it, then that's another way you can kind of not worry about sort of maybe future compatibility of, you know, what if I buy this and then move to Canon or move to Nikon or move to Sony. You know, you've got that option there. If you've got any comments, then leave them below, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.